I think we've mentioned before in some previous videos that we grow most of our food in rented community garden plots that we share with some friends and family. These plots are such a great way for folks like us who don't currently have land to be able to produce some of their own food and also meet other like-minded people in the community. We call my dad the mayor of his community garden because he's always chatting it up with somebody and he knows everybody there by name.
Now, because we only visit these garden plots about once a week, we're not growing a lot of your typical fresh fruits and vegetables there. We're focusing on staple crops, things like pumpkins, dry beans, grain corn, potatoes, and the like. And this is really handy because these plants don't take a lot of attention or need a lot of maintenance once you get them established in the garden, and they could actually probably go for months without us checking on them, although we like to check on them and see them coming along because they're so beautiful.
You gotta hang out with them every once in a while.
Definitely. I manage an urban farm for my day job, so a lot of those fresh, more perishable produce items like strawberries or fresh tomatoes or spinach, I'm able to take home from work, things that are a little too big or not able to sell, and so luckily we get those from there and we don't have to devote a lot of our garden space to them.
The community garden plots we rent are each about 15 feet by 20 feet, and in that space last year we were able to grow about 2 months worth of food. And I know this because I'm a little bit of a data nerd, and I actually weighed all of the produce that we were able to grow in the garden and then used USDA nutrition data to calculate the calories, protein, fat, and carbohydrates from everything that we produced in that amount of space. And keep in mind that these numbers are just what Sylvan and I brought home from the gardens. We share a lot of the produce with my family and our friends that we're growing out there with, so the numbers are actually probably much higher, but you know, they don't weigh all of their food before they eat it, so I don't know, they're weird like that. So I don't know how much total was produced, so this is more of like a minimum amount that we produced in that space. One of our main staple crops is flour corn, which we use for tortillas, chips, grits, cornbread, and more. We brought home more than 58 pounds of dry flour corn last year, which equals 101,000 calories, 2,600 grams of protein, 20,000 grams of carbs, and 1,400 grams of fat. These tortillas, chips, grits, and cornbread form the base for a lot of our meals in the winter, and heirloom flour corn is one of our favorite things to grow. All right, here, you want to open this up? Let's see what's in there.
True.
Dry beans are another really important staple crop for us, and yeah, maybe my favorite. We grow a lot of these on the flour corn using the stalks as a sort of trellis, and you can learn more about exactly how we do that in our video on the traditional Three Sisters method, which we'll put here. Somewhere.
I don't know, we've never done that
We've never done that before. It'll be somewhere.
We'll figure out where to put it.
Yeah, it's gonna be somewhere. You can click at it.
It'll be there.
Yeah. Anyway, we also grow some of the beans on their own dedicated trellis in the full sun so that we can get a little bit more of a concentrated and larger crop. We also have a fun bean tunnel that we do every year, which is a lot of fun. In total, we brought home 18 pounds of dry beans last year, which amounts to 28,000 calories, 1,800 grams of protein, 5,000 grams of carbs, and 126 grams of fat.
Potatoes are another great staple crop that require very little work outside of planting and harvesting, so they work great in a community garden situation. My dad plants a bunch of different varieties of blue, purple, red, and white potatoes each year, and our nephews love guessing what color they'll be before pulling up each plant in the fall. We only brought home a small fraction of what we grew last year, and it added up to about 15 pounds, which equals 9,000 calories, 300 grams of protein, 2,100 grams of carbs, and 8 grams of fat.
We mostly grow climbing or pole beans because they're much more space efficient for us, especially with our Three Sisters gardens. But we do always reserve a space for growing some chickpeas, which have a bush habit. For one, because we love them, and because one of our community garden plots has a patch of very dense clay, and the chickpeas have a nice long taproot that can bust through that and do just fine despite the challenging conditions. Last year, we only planted a tiny patch and harvested about 1 pound of dried chickpeas, which equated to 1,600 calories, 94 grams of protein, 270 grams of carbs, and 27 grams of fat. This year, we're growing about 20 times that amount of chickpeas, so we're very excited.
Winter squash is another big element of our Three Sisters patch, and we grow a ton of it every year. Similar to flour corn, we basically eat it with every meal in the winter, and last year we brought home 180 pounds of winter squash, which gave us about 43,000 calories, 1,000 grams of protein, 9,500 grams of carbs, and about 200 grams of fat.
See, it's nice and tender on the inside.
So in total, we brought home about 272 pounds of staple crops last year, which equals about 182,000 calories in just 900 square feet of growing space, which for reference is about 2% of an acre. So in 2% of an acre, we grew what would equal about 60 days worth of food for 2 people eating a healthy diet. And like I said, we split the harvest with friends and family, so the total amount of food was even higher. But there are a bunch of weirdos who don't weigh their food, so don't hold it against them. Maybe next year.
Hopefully this gives you some inspiration to try out growing some staple crops. We really hope you enjoyed this video and that you do try growing some food if you have access to some dirt.
And if you are feeling inspired, we want to remind you that we have a comprehensive online video course where we show you from seeding to harvesting and processing and storing all of the foods that we grow in our garden to live off the land.
And cooking.
And cooking, yes. Each one has a recipe with it.
And with your purchase, you get lifetime access to all of our video lessons, as well as a portal where you can ask us all of your gardening questions, and we will answer them to the best of our ability.
Now please enjoy a bonus minute of our friend Ethan's incredible piano music. And just a heads up, he's going to be making his own channel soon where he's going to post videos that are you know, showing beautiful nature scenes with his piano music. So keep an eye out and an ear out for that.
It's gonna be great.
Yes. All right. See you next week.